start with a quiet sunrise in a dusty garage. The camera pans over a humble, weathered 1949 Chevrolet panel truck. A young actor, headphones in, rehearses lines next to a makeshift bed draped with old curtains, silently hoping for just one break. That rusted truck, bought for $25, was more than metal. It was his refuge, his mobile script table, and a testament to grit. The humble workhorse, 1949 Chevrolet panel, truck back in 1951, Clint scraped together just $25, roughly $260 today, to buy a beat-up Chevy panel truck, an advanced design, workhorse with over 100,000 miles on his clock-delivered flowers in Oakland. That truck became his home during those lean, hungry years in early Hollywood, with a Thriftmaster straight-six 3-speed manual and patched-up theater curtain insulation. It served as sanctuary and study hall. A $65,000 restoration later, it sits in his garage, a powerful symbol of roots and dreams. Love on 4 wheels, 1955 Cadillac Series 62 convertible. As Eastwood's career gained traction, post-Revenge of the Creature, he indulged in a pink Cadillac Series 62 convertible. Cadillac's post-war elegance embodied. Under its hood was Cadillac's famed 331 Wham! 41 CI V8 with 250 horsepower and a smooth hydromatic automatic. Notably, it carried him on his first date with Maggie Johnson and later formed the color inspiration for pink Cadillac. He invested over $100,000 preserving its original features. Even the $53 Autronic Eye headlight system still functions. The racing elegance, 1974 Ferrari 365 GT4 Berlinetta Boxer. When racing called, Clint answered with Ferrari's first mid-engine 12-cylinder, the 365 GT4BB. Its flat 12, half F1 engine and Pininfarina lines were breathtaking, but he hated the roof. He had Scaglietti remove it, creating one of only a few Spyders in existence, later selling it in 1985 for the Secret Beast 1992 GMC Typhoon. Not all heroes wear capes, some drive invisible speed. For Clint Eastwood, that stealth weapon is the GMC Typhoon, an SUV that looks plain to the untrained eye but hides a monster under the hood. At first glance is boxy and understated, the kind of vehicle you'd expect to see hauling groceries in the suburbs. But beneath that humble shell beats a 4.3-liter turbocharged V6, good for 280 horsepower and a crushing 360 lb-ft of torque. Back in 1992, it was a revelation. An SUV that could blast from 0 to 60 in just 5.3 seconds, humiliating Ferraris, Corvettes, and Porsches at stoplights. Only 4,197 Typhoons were ever built, and Eastwood's is even rarer. Finished in a factory green shade, one of just 132 produced. He first encountered the Typhoon while filming Unforgiven, where it was used as a chase vehicle to keep up with the rugged terrain during location scouting. Impressed by its unshakable balance of speed and strength, Eastwood ordered one brand, new for himself. The crew nicknamed it the Brute for its ability to dominate rough ground with ease, outpacing even the specialized off-road rigs brought in for the job. Unlike many collectors who preserve rare cars behind ropes and glass, Clint still drives his Typhoon with pride. He hasn't modified it, hasn't swapped out the Garrett turbo, hasn't let it become a relic. It remains completely stock, just as it was when it rolled out of the factory. For Eastwood, the Typhoon represents something deeper than horsepower. It's a secret identity, a vehicle no one expects until it leaves them in the dust. Or as he once joked, it's like having a superpower nobody knows about, until I floor it. British charm on narrow roads, 1966 Morris Mini Countryman Cooper. Steiny but tenacious, Clint Eastwood's Mini Countryman Cooper S is proof that greatness isn't always measured in size or horsepower. Painted in the iconic British racing green, this unassuming estate car is one of just 6 ever produced in its exact specification. While the rest of Eastwood's collection roars with V12s, big block V8s, and supercharged monsters, the Mini represents a different kind of engineering genius. Lightweight, nimble, and endlessly clever. The story of how he found it is almost as remarkable as the car itself. Discovered rusting away in a forgotten barn, the Mini was little more than a shell, its original engine long gone. Most collectors would have walked away, but Eastwood saw something others didn't, the spirit of a motoring legend that had once dominated rally stages and redefined small car performance. Determined to revive it properly, he tracked down the missing engine, which had somehow made its way to Australia. Against the odds, he bought it back and reunited it with the car, restoring authenticity to a machine many had written off as lost. What followed was a painstaking restoration. Every seam, every bolt, every piece of trim was carefully brought back to life. Not with shortcuts, but with reverence for the car's history. The result is a Mini that doesn't just run, it dances. Lightweight, quick on its feet, and sharp in the corners, it handles with a playful precision that belies its size. For Eastwood, the Mini Countryman isn't a novelty. It's a reminder that legends come in all shapes and scales. In his hands, this tiny green machine is every bit as iconic as the Ferraris and Shelbys parked beside it. The elegant Jaguar 1960 XK150 Roadster. Some cars find their way into legend not by design, but by chance. For Clint Eastwood, the Jaguar XK150 Roadster became just that. Sleek, powerful, and unmistakably British. It was meant to be nothing more than his personal weekend car, a machine for winding California roads. But when the designated Mercedes broke down on the first day of filming Play Misty for Me, Eastwood rolled onto the set in his own XK150. In that moment, the Jaguar became an unexpected co-star, its elegance mirroring the film's mix of beauty and danger. The XK150, produced between 1957 and 1961, was the final evolution of Jaguar's legendary XK line. With its 3.4-liter straight-six optional triple SU carburetors and disc brakes at all four corners, it was a sophisticated performer in its day. Eastwood's Roadster wasn't just about power though, it was about presence. Its long bonnet, graceful curves, and open-top design made it a perfect cinematic foil for the intensity of the thriller he was directing and starring in. Years later, Eastwood undertook a meticulous restoration of the car, proving once again that for him, authenticity matters. He sourced original wool carpeting from the very mill that supplied Jaguar in the 1960s, and leather hides from the same British suppliers who had furnished the factory interiors. It wasn't a cosmetic facelift, it was a resurrection. Every stitch and every surface was brought back with care, blending technical precision with emotional reverence. The result is more than a restored Roadster. It's a Jaguar with a soul, one that carries both cinematic history and Eastwood's unwavering devotion to keeping machines alive in their truest form. Muscle meets mayhem. 1967 Shelby GT 500. Some cars are bought, but others are built with stories already written into their steel. For Clint Eastwood, his custom 1967 Shelby GT 500 is exactly that. Painted in a one-off Aapco blue, the car was crafted by Carroll Shelby's legendary team specifically for Eastwood, a blend of American muscle and Hollywood grit. Under its sculpted hood lies a monster, a 448 cubic inch V8, bored out to 447. Fed by twin Hawley 4-barrel carburetors, it delivers a thundering 455 horsepower, numbers that in the late 1960s made it one of the most fearsome street machines in the country. It wasn't just performance, it was rebellion on wheels, tailor-made for a man who had built his career playing characters that stood against the system. But fate had a twist in store. On its way to delivery, the Shelby was hijacked, stripped of its glory, and crudely converted into a tow truck. For most, that would have been the end of the tale. But Shelby's team tracked it down, reclaimed the battered car, and painstakingly restored it to its intended glory. That brush with theft only deepened its legend. This wasn't just a car, it was a survivor. Today, Eastwood still drives it. The odometer shows just 21,000 original miles, each one carefully chosen, never wasted. And when asked if he'd ever part with it, his answer remains firm. Some things, no matter their price, aren't for sale. The GT 500 isn't just a machine, it's a statement, a rolling embodiment of Eastwood's philosophy, endurance, authenticity, and refusal to compromise. 2 wheels, 4 hearts, 1971 Honda CB750 Clint. Eastwood's passion for machines doesn't end with cars. It roars just as loudly on 2 wheels. Among his most prized motorcycles is a 1971 Honda CB750, a bike that changed the world of motorcycling forever. Dubbed the Ferrari of motorcycles, the CB750 was revolutionary for introducing the transverse 4-cylinder engine to the mainstream. With its smooth power delivery, front disc brakes, and refined engineering, it redefined performance and reliability, setting a new global standard. Eastwood didn't buy it to show off. He bought it to use. During the filming of Dirty Harry, he rode the Honda across San Francisco's steep and twisting streets, scouting locations and testing camera angles on hills that would later become cinematic landmarks. Ever practical, he even built a custom bracket to hold his scripts, letting him review scenes between rides. It wasn't just transportation, it was part of his filmmaking toolkit. What makes this bike truly remarkable is the condition it remains in today. Original, pristine, and unmolested, it stands as a time capsule of Honda's engineering brilliance. When the company's museum in Japan offered to restore it for display, Eastwood politely declined. Instead, he chose to oversee the work himself, sourcing authentic parts from across continents, ensuring that every detail remained faithful. Now, every nick, every scratch on its chrome or tank tells a story, not of neglect, but of use, of life, lived at full throttle. For Eastwood, the CB750 isn't just a machine. It's a personal artifact, linking the man, the movies, and the machines that helped shape his legend. The barn-find beauty, 1958 Pontiac Bonneville. A convertible legend has it that Clint Eastwood stumbled upon one of only 630 fuel-injected Pontiac Bonneville convertibles in a forgotten barn near Carmel, California. To most people, it might have looked like an old relic gathering dust, but Eastwood recognized it instantly as a rare jewel from the late 1950s, one of Pontiac's boldest engineering statements. With Rochester fuel injection pushing its V8 to 300 horsepower, the Bonneville was a car built to challenge the era's giants, a blend of Detroit muscle and space-age optimism. Eastwood didn't just rescue it, he resurrected it. Staying true to his reputation for authenticity, he restored the Bonneville with its original injection system intact, resisting the temptation to swap in something modern. Its body was repainted in a breathtaking tritone combination: Kenya, ivory, redwood copper, and stellar black, colors that catch the sunlight like shifting fire. Even the vintage vacuum tube radio was carefully rebuilt, its warm crackle and hum a reminder of an era when cars were as much about style and atmosphere as performance. Today, the Bonneville is a fixture at Pebble Beach, where collectors and enthusiasts gather to admire automotive art at its highest level. Yet Eastwood treats it less like a museum piece and more like a member of the family. In one of his most famous stories, he skipped an awards presentation just to pile his grandkids into the convertible and take them for ice cream rides along the coast. For him, the Bonneville's value isn't just in its rarity, it's in the memories it creates. Said the last of its kind. 1936 Mercedes-Benz 540K Special Roadster. Imagine a car so rare that even Jay Leno, Hollywood's most famous collector, couldn't get his hands on one. The Mercedes-Benz 540K Special Roadster, built in the late 1930s, was already an icon of pre-war automotive luxury. But Eastwood's example isn't just another Roadster. It's one of only 26 ever produced, and the only known survivor that still retains its original engine, chassis, and body. That combination makes it a unicorn in the world of classic cars. History nearly erased it. During World War II, Adolf Hitler ordered many of these cars destroyed or converted for military use. The Roadster, once a rolling symbol of German prestige, became collateral in the chaos of war. Somehow, against all odds, this particular car slipped through the cracks. Decades later, in 1984, a German collector who knew of Eastwood's passion for authenticity reached out. Armed with factory documentation, Eastwood verified its lineage, then quietly purchased it in a private deal estimated to exceed $12 million. What he acquired was more than steel, leather, and wood. It was a time capsule. Every stitch of leather, every strip of polished wood, every layer of paint, and even the headliner has been restored to exact historical accuracy. Sitting behind the wheel is like stepping into a portal that predates even Eastwood's own film career. For Clint, the 540K isn't simply a collector's trophy. It's cinema incarnate, a machine that embodies elegance, danger, and survival. Much like Eastwood himself, it has endured history, carrying scars of its time, yet standing tall as a singular legend. The ever-present muscle, 1972 Ford Grand Torino. Sport decades before the movie ever rolled cameras, Clint Eastwood already owned the very Grand Torino that would later share the screen with him. Painted in a bold factory red, capped with a black vinyl roof, the car embodied raw American muscle of the 1970s. Beneath the hood sat a 429 Cobra Jet V8, paired with ram air induction and heavy-duty suspension, a package that gave the Torino both street credibility and brute performance. For most, it was a weekend warrior. For Eastwood, it was part of his life. When the Grand Torino landed, the studio expected to source a movie car, something polished, staged, maybe even multiple versions for filming. But Eastwood, true to form, refused. He insisted on driving his own Torino, the same one that had rumbled through his personal history. Every dent, every scrape on his paint was part of its character, and he wouldn't allow Hollywood to smooth it away. That decision gave the film a layer of authenticity impossible to fake. Inside, the car still wears the same worn upholstery and carries a small St. Christopher charm hanging from the mirror, a quiet protector on the road. To Clint, restoring it would strip away its soul, so he keeps it original, not as a collector's museum piece, but as a living reminder of both the cars and his own journey. When he brings it to shows, he doesn't need polish or presentation. His presence behind the wheel does all the talking. The Crown Jewel, 1964. Ferrari 250 GT Lusso, arguably the collection's ultimate prize, the last built Ferrari 250 GT Lusso. Built from 1962 to 1964, just 351 made. It stands as one of the most refined Grand Tours in automotive history. With its Pininfarina styling, flowing curves, and a 3.0 later Colombo V12 under the hood, the Lusso was less about raw power and more about elegance in motion. For many collectors, this model is the crown jewel of Ferrari's golden era. Eastwood's car carries even more mystique. Originally ordered by another film director, fate redirected the machine into Clint's hands, a perfect twist of Hollywood destiny. He purchased it in 1970 for $155,000, which would be about $100,000 today. Back then, it was an extravagant indulgence, but hardly the untouchable relic it has become. Today, its value soars well above $3.5 million, with some experts suggesting even higher given its provenance and the fact that it was the very last Lusso produced. What makes this car unique isn't just its rarity or price tag, but how Eastwood treated it. Unlike many collectors who lock away such treasures in climate-controlled garages, Clint drove his Lusso as a daily companion. Neighbors in Carmel by the Sea recall seeing the gleaming Ferrari rumble casually through town, its V12 engine growling beneath his steady hand. It wasn't art on display, it was art alive, carrying him from set meetings to dinners, its value measured not in dollars but in memories and miles. This Ferrari wasn't a possession, it was a partner in Eastwood's story, reflecting his philosophy, understated, purposeful, and timeless. Eastwood emerges, silent, knowing, chasing horizons. His cars aren't trophies, they're chapters of perseverance, love, rebellion, artistry, and undying passion. From humble rust buckets to priceless icons, Clint Eastwood's cars tell the story of a life lived full throttle.
Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more dives into Hollywood's hidden history.